Good morning, good afternoon, good evening around the world. My name is Doug Brunke. I'm the founder and CEO of Global Chamber, and this is the League of Opportunities. It's an event that only members speak, but the audience are both members and non-members from around the world. Here we are at 4 p.m. Pacific time and 8 a.m. in Tokyo. And so very often we have folks from around the world speaking, and I'm not sure, I think we do have that today. That's really great. We also, of course, have Globies, and so all of you are global, so congratulations on that. One of my favorite people in the world is Murat Wahab, and I got to appreciate Murat he's on our advisory board for Global Chamber San Francisco, and his leadership allowed us to do a fantastic APEC event. Prior to the APEC in San Francisco event in November, we did an event in October, which was spectacular. And a lot of the key there was Murat's connectivity to the governments of the Philippines and of other countries. But Murat, thank you so much. You know everybody in the Bay Area. You have a banking background that is just so stellar, and you've been able to combine all of that into a business to allow people to fund their companies in very unique ways. So thank you for all that you do. Thank you for your support and collaboration. Are you okay with kicking us off today?
Oh, me? Yes, absolutely. It's been a while since I joined in an extraordinary meeting. So I want to seize this opportunity to share what we do here at Hakim Saya.
Okay, well, maybe I should clarify, this is not the League of Extraordinaries, although you are extraordinary. This is the League of Opportunities. And so we have 5 presenters today. The League of Extraordinaries is typically 20 to 40 members of Global Chamber only, and they have about 3 to 4 minutes, and you explain who you're looking to meet. That's what that is. We do that twice a month, second Tuesdays and final Fridays. What this is League of Opportunities. And the focus really is for other members of Global Chamber, you have something that they can benefit from. And our goal is less about pitching, more about sharing an opportunity that they can directly or indirectly benefit from. And you have an extraordinary portfolio of offerings, and especially some of the things you were telling me about in terms of access to capital that you uniquely have. Would love to share that for members here on the call, for them to hear, for the recordings that people listen to, and then anybody who could benefit from anybody here telling them. So does that make sense, or does that work for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to share that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you have like maybe 5 minutes to present, and then ideally you get about 5 minutes for Q&A. It's very rare that someone has the discipline to stick to 5 minutes. I hope you do, but if not, it'll lead into the Q&A time. It's all good, no matter what happens, because you're the boss, you are amazing, and I want the members to know more about how you can help them.
Absolutely. Is that with me first, or with the other members, the 5, including myself?
Well, let's kick off there from the top of Salesforce Tower above San Francisco and Oakland Bay Bridge. If you don't mind, just maybe spend about 5 minutes and share more about what opportunities you can present, and then we'll go from there.
Absolutely. Doug, thank you so much, and very kind of you, and giving me the platforms and kind introductions about what I've done in the past since I joined the Global Chamber. So to kickstart for today, let me briefly introduce myself. My name is Murat Wahab. I'm a founder and principal of Hakim Saya. So we are global funding partner. That's our tagline. And what we do here is that we are specialized boutique business finance consulting firm here in San Francisco. What we're just focusing on providing business finance solutions, not only for domestic, but also for international companies as well. So we're focusing on both domestics and international, which is very rare to have those. So the global chamber seems that it's a global. Let me start with the international, we are offering our services or how we can help you. And so the main focus for us is access to capital. And then the second that we do is providing business consulting. So since that what we're offering here at Hakim Saya, Global Funding Partner, is access to capital, we look at the project financings and commercial real estate financing, asset-based lending, invoice factoring, so international invoice factorings, and then also ground-up constructions, a bridge loan. So most of our lenders internationally that we work with are private family offices. They're based either in the UK, the US, or Canada. So these are the three main private family offices that we work with. And most of them have a lending parameters. So on average, the requirements of the loan facilities that we're able to help members is that if you have $50 million in the project financings, or $100 million, depending on the size of the project that you're working on. And our lender either can go up to 500 million or up to $5 billion per transaction. And another lenders, a private family office in the US that we work with, are very specific. They only can provide for international is about 5 million and up to $50 million, and has to be fully collateralized on their collateral, either commercial real estate or land. This is very rare opportunity because is that for those people like the members who are working, trying to get like international financing, it's not that easy. And also to find legitimate lenders, it's very challenging as well. The lenders that who has the capability and sources to fund the project. That being said, not every projects that we work with, not every deals that we can help with, because if it doesn't meet the minimum loan size facilities of our lenders, definitely that not it. Well, we cannot help. So who is our target clients? And basically that companies, or I'm giving just both for domestics and international, companies that seeking access to capital that who cannot get the financing from conventional lenders. And then the loan size, I say that start at 1 million for domestics, and international, typically we want to see about $5 million USD. And then also who is that we want to like to work with that companies who could not obtain adequate capital to grow further or maintain their business. And last but not least, companies who seek invoice financing that, they have the invoice, they're doing international trade, and then that they cannot get the typical asset-based lending. So what we can do and help, like if they have that, we can do the international factoring for those invoices, like as long that within 30, 60, 90 days or 120 days. So that can improve the cash flow of the companies. So that is in a nutshell what Hakim Saya is all about, because for domestic, I forgot to mention, we work over 200 plus lenders. So everything is different from that perspective. So if you, for example, if you go to the bank will only provide you what their product and services that it can offer. And then if they cannot do it, you're done. So what we can do is offering that above 200 plus lenders nationwide for domestics, and about 5 lenders private family office, which is for international. So let me just say that, that I think I'm using that 5 minutes just to explain of high level overview. Then I open up the questions of any members that wanted to kind of ask a little bit, so I can give you a little bit more insight of what exactly that can be done.
Very well timed. Thank you very much. You hit almost right on the button. So we have about 4 minutes. So what questions do people have for Murat? Or either raise your hand or just unmute yourself and kind of go from there.
Murat, I have projects that are looking for funding. I'm a lawyer, have clients. We've talked about greenhouse and some other things in the past. Do you still have a lot of lenders behind you that could look at projects in the 20 to 400 million range?
Absolutely. First and foremost, nice to see you, Michael. Michael Patterson has been with the Global Chamber for a very long time, and he's one of the persons that when I established my firm and actually using his firm to actually to establish and asking for what the the do's and the don'ts when established internationally. So I appreciate that. Michael, yes, I do still have, and I added on into the new lenders as well when it comes to the sizes of the facilities. As you're aware, sizes like that matters to a lot of our lenders, because to do deals that internationally is very costly. So of course they're looking at 100 millions and above. So I'm happy to look at and then talk on the side what kind of documentations that we're looking at, and before we go any further.
Okay, I'll send you one today, and another one that we haven't talked about yet. Okay?
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Michael. So just a side note that if anybody who wants to like get engaged with the law firms like for Michael Patterson's, I really highly recommend them for when you're doing something internationally.
Thank you.
Mike is the best, in terms of anybody that you have coming inbound. We have an inbound trade mission in a few weeks, and Mike is hosting them at their office. It's 4 companies in an organization, and over again, he goes way beyond your expectations in terms of being able to help. And he knows everybody in Phoenix. So John Argudelis, I should figure out by now how to pronounce your last name, especially the Greek name. John, if you haven't met Mike, you should. And I see some other folks, including Michelle. I think you've already met Mike before, but definitely all of you in the Phoenix area, anybody in the Western US, anybody that has inbound companies. Mike's also has a mariachi band, and he's a great singer, and I've had the good fortune to listen to that, and I have it on video, and it's amazing. He's really great. So he's a Renaissance guy. So is Murat. What other questions do we have for Murat, please?
Well, I have one here. I have my hand up.
Oh, sorry,
Murat,
Wayne.
thanks for the presentation. I'm gonna risk embarrassing myself yet again. Just on the financing, just to be clear, this financing opportunity is only available for non-US ventures, or is it also applicable for US-based ventures?
Is to answer your question, thank you for the questions, Wayne. It's both the domestics and international. As long as the projects not located in the red line countries or any country, the UK, the US, and Canada impose international sanction, so that my lenders, especially the private family offices, that able to actually to provide financing if it makes sense, right, in terms of the project. But the premise is that if you meet the minimum loan requirement, is applicable between domestics and international.
Right.
If the projects in the US themselves, then I have more lenders that I can work with compared to the international project outside of the US jurisdiction.
So I have a referral for somebody who has a project in Austin, Texas. It's a large real estate venture, like multi-hundreds of millions of dollars. Is that something that you could possibly talk to them about? Is that something you would look into?
Yes, absolutely. I am actually working on a few projects, because in Houston's actually, it really depends on the industries, and the most important things that for us is looking at the documentation, like executive summary, the business plan, financials, and all, just to look at it, and then I can determine whether this is something that we can work on, and happy to chat.
That's great.
Well,
Doug, either Doug or yourself, or if somebody could in the chat with Murat's contact information.
We'll get you connected by email. No worries.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So one of the things that happens, and thank you, Murat, we're going to keep moving now. There's several things I want everybody here to be aware of. We do, and Cesar is the key person at this one. And tomorrow morning, we have a similar meeting at 8 a.m. Pacific time, and we'll have a third person, Elisa, who's keeping notes. We're keeping notes on everything that's said. And then we share internally after this meeting about connections we should be making. But in the meantime, during the meeting, we're making introductions. And in fact, I'm seeing an email pop on my phone, connecting Murat Wahab with Wayne Baxter. So you have both of you an email to getting both of you connected. So it's already been done. So that's happening. There'll also be a LinkedIn post after this meeting with many or most of you connected to it, certainly all the speakers, not sure all of the attendees. So it's intended to help members and be able for you to connect up to some amazing people. One of those amazing people is someone just in my neighborhood where I happen to be right now, fairly close, Charles Brooks of OFX. And Charles, I think you might have, is Bryant a partner in good activities on your side of things? And how would you like to share more about OFX? Interestingly, we have 5 speakers today, and 4 of the 5 are focused in on the financing, money side of things. And OFX is an outstanding currency exchange management firm. And Charles, if you would like to share some of the new things going on at OFX, that would be awesome.
Certainly. Thanks, Mr. Doug. Appreciate it. And absolutely glad to have you as my neighbor, for sure. We're going to work on that part as well. And yes, Bryant, who is my colleague, is actually working out of our San Francisco office today. As Doug mentioned, members, we are part of a global currency exchange group, FX, not crypto, not Bitcoin. It is currency exchange. So we deal with, in our group, partnerships and alliances. We deal with individuals and corporations, large enterprises, and the like. Oh, thank you. And we help those entities, individuals come on board. We then, through our both sales and marketing efforts, align them with our teams of specialists that execute the trading. And obviously coming through us, the biggest benefit is the savings that corporations, individuals can receive as a result of utilizing our resources. We have up to 18 different global banking partners that allow us to leverage and offer lower margins, which means lower costs to the end user. That's all done through our platform. Our target audience, as you kind of heard me say before, is more, our theme going into this fiscal year, which started earlier this month. There's going to be a lot of focus on small and medium-sized businesses. And obviously individuals will never be not a focus, but there's going to be more of a focus on corporate business, enterprises, e-commerce sellers, and the like. They do make up a large part of our portfolio, but there's going to be more of a focus of that going into this year, into next. A lot of our leadership is is in Toronto right now. Global leadership, North American leadership. Bryant and myself are part of the North America team. We're both here on the West Coast, but we often, in fact, much of our daily communication is with a lot of our global internal partners and external partners as well too. I know some of the questions that were addressed. How can you or OFX help prospects? There are partnership opportunities within our group. Obviously, we are part of our own little ecosystem here. Is like, as I said before, we bring on individuals. There is what I call rev share opportunities that we can discuss with you about. And that rev share opportunity is basically you bring on a corporation or individual, they start to trade, then you can take advantage of some of the compensation opportunities that come your way. It's nothing illegal. It just allows you to create some additional revenue to your bottom line. What solution do I bring or do we bring? Our main platform is our OFX online platform. It is a digital format. And then through that, if you're a corporation or an e-seller, we've got another product as well that helps facilitate currency trading. CAD, USD, AUD, New Zealand dollar, Hong Kong dollar, the pound, the euro, all those majors are in play. And those are solutions that our corporate dealers will get involved with you as well. And then, as I said before, whether it be the what I would call our GCA account or our standard online solution, it's all about saving the end user monies versus that of a traditional bank. Let's see. How can the global tribe help you? Well, this is a great opportunity here, just being able to speak in front of all of you, which I appreciate the time here. And if there's any questions about the alliances and the partnerships aspect of things, you can contact myself and or Bryant. Emails there on your monitors here. That's a general inbox that comes to all three of us. And as I said before, Val Jager, our head of alliances and partnerships, is in Toronto the remainder part of the week, and discussing our fiscal year action steps going into this year and next. So, thank you. Any questions? Awesome. Thank you, Doug, and I'll look for any feedback or questions. Feel free to contact Doug directly, Caesar, Elisa, and we can connect that way as well, too. Again, appreciate the opportunity.
Doug, just in case you're mute, Doug. And thanks, Charles.
Thank you very much. One question I had, Charles, for you is in terms of OFX and how it differentiates itself in the marketplace. What, from your time there so far, where do you find the key points that you emphasize to your clients in terms of how you're able to help them more than others?
Great question. Essentially, it's the margins. There's a misconception out there about what FX is. You see the name or the cinnamon, the initials FX, and it automatically leads you to believe that it's some type of crypto or Bitcoin type of thing, and it's not. Currency exchange has been around for quite some time. The values in and of itself is what I would say, currency values change all the time. The market's always moving, but essentially we're able to offer lower margins. With that comes white glove service as well through our corporate dealers and our consumer dealership teams. And with those lower margins, there's going to be cost savings versus that of a traditional bank. Banks don't specialize in this. We are specifically a currency exchange entity that happens to have long tenured relationships with as I said before, 17 to 18 global banking relationships, which allows us to offer these lower margins, which in turn creates lower cost savings for individuals and corporations.
A quick question from Stephanie. Hi, Stephanie Austin.
Doug, how are you doing?
I'm
Hey,
doing
Charles.
great.
Hey, Charles. Hey, but I have two quick questions for you. One, who is your competitor? And the second question I have is that you said that you provide white gloves for the currency exchange. Are you located all over? How do people? The only reason I ask because I know some people who have currency and they're holding on to it. They are planning on exchanging it. So how would they do that with your organization and where you located?
First question is our competitors typically is WISE or XE. Those two entities tend to operate in lower dollar amounts. So our dollar amounts, we tend to excel anything above 5,000, 10,000 and above. But if you're only talking about exchanging $500, then it doesn't really work. The fees in there, it costs more to send the money than so those are where those entities really do well. And WISE is a lot like ourselves. They do well, but then they don't have the breadth that we have globally. Your second question, we offer a digital solution, so everything is online. However, that part of that white glove service that I had talked about, As soon as you get through the onboarding and registration process, which is about 20 minutes, you know, maybe a little longer for our larger enterprise and corporations, then you are assigned a dealer. And that dealer then can help walk you through some of the strategies to execute that exchange and when to execute that exchange. And so there's what I would call two models. There's a digital piece of it, and then there's the white glove where you're actually assigned to an individual who can help you with as to timing, how to exchange what currency, what's movable, what's not. And so there is a what we call digital plus human type model that we have. You interface with the platform, you get assigned to a specialist, and then you're off to the races.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate
Yes, ma'am.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Outstanding. Great education today. Thank you very much, Charles. We're going to continue to go around the room. We're 32 more minutes and we're planning to wrap up, and we've got 3 speakers, so we're going to keep to making sure 10 minutes, even though our next speaker, I think there's going to be a lot to digest with Laurent Dorp of Fund Sniper. You're going to have to help me with your last name. Is it Dorpe or Dorp? I'm not sure, but when you pronounce it, work on it. What is your last name pronounced?
Dorp, simply Dorp. Dorp.
Okay.
Can you hear me? Dorp.
I can hear you. Yeah. Is that is it French?
It's French, but I'm from the north of France, near to Belgium. Also, Dorp is almost, I would say, mixed between Belgium and French.
Wonderful. Well, thank you and welcome to Global Chamber. This conversation is helping members get these new opportunities out. And this one is somewhat of a new opportunity for me too, because you're a relatively new member. Fund Sniper is a relatively new platform. I was really excited to learn more about it, and I think our members will be as well. Please go ahead. We look forward to learning more.
Okay. Hello, everyone. First of all, I'm based in Hong Kong. Also, it's 7:30 on the morning here. I'm very happy to see that the Global Chamber is worldwide, and I can see all the countries. It's very nice to see all of you. I created my past as was previously the former CEO of the Rothschild Group. Also, I'm on the finance like most of you. The fact is, I discovered during my career that it's very difficult for startup or growth company or as well professional on the M&A field to find the good funds and the VC funds, which are I would say 33% of the financing of a startup and the growth company. On my career as well, I discovered that you don't have a real search engine, very precise, permitted to select a private equity or VC fund following a lot of criteria, which is the size of the ticket size, the sector, subsector, which type of investor they are, seed money, incubation, distressed woman, whatever. Also, I built during 2 years a huge database. I bring all the PE and the VC fund, and I put a team fund by fund, because unfortunately this is not listed, the investing not listed company, and the PE world is not like the asset management, which is easy to collect information. I put a team, and fund by fund we collect this database and make something that you can, very useful, it's very useful, you can filter and fund any fund linked to any project. And we launched Fund Sniper the 5th of March. I put on the chat the website, because it's difficult to present a search engine without any, to don't make any demo. Now we have over 18,000 funds. We are over 20,000 fund manager. And for any startup or growth company or M&A professional, they have access to this platform. They can filter and find the fund in 5 clicks, in 3 minutes, which save a lot of time and energy. I built it at this platform for myself, because I had with Rothschild Group a lot of fundraising all over the world, and it was difficult to find the right fund for the right project. And now with these tools, in 5 clicks, we can find the list of 200, 300, 400 funds linked to the project. The platform is in 3 languages. We did it in English, of course, French and Dutch for now, and we will do the Spanish before the end of the year. Our main competitor, they are, I would say, oh, so much expensive, like P International. The price is $6,800 per user per year. To give you an example, with our platform, with the discount code, you have access to the more than 7,500 US fund with their fund manager for $350 per year. This is a big gap between 6,800 and $350. Because my first target is to help the project to find the money in easy way and as well affordable way. Who can put 6,800 USD? Don't think a startup can do. Growth company, they won't do, and so a lot of M&A professional, they won't do as well. You have access as well to the continent. You have three choices of continent. You have America, you have Europe, and you have Asia. For example, or America, this is over I would say 9,000 funds, because when you take a continent, we offer as well Oceania funds such as Australia, or the Middle East funds such as Israel, Qatar, or as well Africa, like a South African fund. The cost is $550 to have access to the continent. And worldwide, you have access to more than 80,000 funds, more than 20,000 fund manager, is $750 per year. Compared to $7,800. First, it's cheap, and secondly, it's very precise. The second competitor we have is almost Crunchbase. Some of you certainly use Crunchbase, but we are much more deeper, much more fund, much more information. And at the end, to have access to the 80,000 funds, they don't give this type of access. The next development would be we will have the family office in the coming, I will say the coming 6 months, have already 7,000 family office to add on the platform. The target for us is to have in the coming 3 years to become like a fund sniper. You want to look a fund and you will have access to family office and you will have access to PE and VC fund. We won't put the business angel people, individual, because it's quite complicated as well to obtain their approval. I've seen some search engine, they put business angel. For example, for my personal case, I'm tagged as a business angel guy. I receive 50 emails per day. Excuse me, I never asked to be business angel tagged. Also, I cut this email and now nobody can reach me. Also, we put only professional and professional investor. So this platform is new. Again, launched the 5th of March. I put on the chat the email. As well, the discount code, you can have a decrease of $150 on any pass when you subscribe. And the thing is simple. Is we don't want to do a lot of things. We are only search engine. Simple. Thank you.
Spectacular. Thank you very much. A lot to digest there. Questions? I don't hear
Doug.
you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
one quick
go ahead,
question.
Gary. You would be a
And
person
Laurent,
I would think would have a good question. Please go ahead.
Laurent, thank you for your presentation. And while you were talking, I went and, on your website, Fund Sniper, and looked at what you're offering. So that's a very interesting database you have there. And are the database that you have, have they raised their hand and said, yes, I'm interested in those kinds of investments? Or that's just public data that you pulled and you just have that in a convenient spot. Now it's up for somebody who subscribes to go after them and convince them that, yeah, what I have would be a good investment for them.
Oh, I built this database. First of all, the private equity, I would say, list and professional is quite difficult to build. Okay, and after I did that, for me, the target is not it is only to be a search engine. The startup, they have access to the list of the fund. Of course, they need to do the job. The job of the fundraising, we don't do the job. We don't want to interfere between I will say because you have a lot of professionals. I did M&A for many years. I know to raise money is quite difficult. We don't want to replace any fund M&A professional. But what we want to do is to give access to the funds to the professional, because and to be frank, I'm still very surprised to see a lot of M&A professionals. They took a fundraising mandate and they don't have access to any database. They don't know which fund can subscribe. No, the world is the world. To give you recently an example, Hong Kong company, the investor was a Norwegian fund, and I find it through Fund Sniper. It was a Norwegian fund. I did not know this fund, but due to this database, the Norwegian fund invests in the Hong Kong company. Most of the M&A professionals I've seen, they know 100 funds and they speak only to the same one. With Fund Sniper, they have access to the world, but not only for the M&A professional, but as well for the startup and the growth company. It gives them as well a list of the funds. Recently, I've got a startup. The guy came to me and saying, "Oh, I spent many months to try to find some fund." The guy contacted 100 funds. We go on Fund Sniper, we find 500 possible funds. Also, the guy now has this list. He can build as well on the system five personal fund lists. Also, he built the list by country. And after, of course, he attacked the funds. He contact them because he has the phone number, he has the link lead, he has the website. He has generally he has the fund manager. He can contact them and he tried to push his project. And on the 500 fund, if I 3 of them, they were interested. So I'm very happy. I don't know how many startups they will find the money at the end or growth company, but I'm so happy to see people that can raise money because it was like, why we don't give access to the professional in terms of investment? Why we don't give access to the funds? It is, for me, it was very surprising when I started M&A to see it doesn't exist, or at big cost, $6,800 to have access to this base. I was thinking it's too much money. So I'm happy to give this free access, but not free because it's little money. I need as well to maintain the database and make some money on it, but it's not the first target. The first target is to connect the project and the money.
Oh, Gary, I muted you because there was some feedback there. You need to unmute.
No problem. Sorry about that.
I don't know. We need to keep moving on, but I think your question is a really good one. The other one kind of related to that in my own head is your own background, Laurent, in terms of how you came up with this. I think we're scheduling another Globinar for you to spend more time on this. I know we are. So let's save that for then. I think you've done a really good job of at least wetting the whistle, as we say here in the US, at least giving us a taste of what you're doing. And hopefully all of you will see more. And in the LinkedIn post that will go out tomorrow, if you haven't found Laurent's information by then, check that out. Check out his LinkedIn profile, go to the website, and there'll be another Globinar in the meantime. If not just Laurent, but anybody that you hear here today, you want more information, just send an email either to Cesar or myself or info@globalchamber.org, or put something in the chat. Whatever you'd like to do, we'll figure out a way to get you connected. Laurent, thank you for Friday morning. You're closer to the weekend than we are. Thanks for jumping in a little bit earlier, probably.
It's already Friday, I'm so happy. I'm closer to the weekend than you.
So congratulations on that, and thank you for sharing. It's fascinating, and I think all of us would like to learn more. Let's now, as we get into the home stretch, let's keep the focus in on the finance side of things. And Wayne Baxter's been a member of Global Chamber, happens also to be in Southern California, like Charles. And he's been primarily focused in on US, Canada, people with high net worth individuals, basically. But as he renewed this week, in fact, I think it might have been just yesterday, he was telling me about a new opportunity that he has. And it happened that someone else stepped off of this meeting and he was available to speak. So I'm very happy. This is very much fresh off the press. Wayne Baxter now has an opportunity, also finance related. Wayne, could you share yours? And I know you haven't had a lot of time to prepare, but if you could give us about a 5-minute intro, that would be amazing.
First of all, I want to just thank you for the invitation, and happy to be able to join everyone here, and very interesting conversation so far. And yeah, just a quick sort of backup. So the firm I'm with is called One Capital Management. We are a fee-only fiduciary portfolio manager We have a deep expertise in investment wealth management services. We're licensed in the US as a registered investment advisor, but we're also licensed in Canada, which is very unique in the wealth management space to have a firm that's licensed on both sides of the Canadian-US border. So we're able to buy and sell on a discretionary basis for our clients, stocks, bonds, ETFs in both Canada and the US, and in both Canadian and US dollars in both countries. And being a Canadian, I know I'm living in the US now, but as a Canadian, I can tell you Canadians are really finicky about, selling their Canadian dollars. And if you look this morning, I think the Canadian dollar was trading around 72 cents US. Not the greatest time to be buying US dollars if you're a Canadian. Well, the good news with our firm is that if you're maybe inheriting money, you're here in the US, you've inherited money, or you're moving to the US and you have significant Canadian dollars you want to bring with you, but you don't want to convert it, we can bring those dollars across the border, keep those proceeds invested as they should be in CAD, and we can convert to USD at some point later on. So that's been what I've been working on as a cross-border wealth management advisor since I moved to the US. But as Doug has mentioned, another opportunity has presented itself to us that I think a lot of people may be interested in, especially if your clients are international based or non-US high net worth or ultra high net worth investors who would love to get access to the US capital markets. Now, generally speaking, if as an investor, you have to be a US resident, US taxpayer with a social security number to open up a brokerage account here in the US. The same thing in Canada. To open up a brokerage account in Canada, you have to be a resident of Canada. Well, the good news I can share with you today is that we have found a way legally for non-US ultra high net worth investors to open up a brokerage account in the US. Now, why would they want to do that? I guess that's the first question, really. Well, I think the first obvious answer to that is the diversification opportunity, because the U.S. capital markets provide a very much broad range of investments, probably more so than most countries' home country investment opportunities. So number one, there's a diversification benefit. Number two is, again, you're getting access to global brands and companies, right? The U.S. market, as everybody knows, includes large and mega cap stocks and companies that typically you don't get to find anywhere else in the world. US dollar is very attractive. So you get an opportunity to get a currency diversification. The key, though, to this whole program is, as an international high net worth investor who takes advantage of this program, they will be able to invest in the US in such a way that they will not be subject to estate taxes. If they were to unexpectedly die while this account was in place, they will not be subject, as we would be as an American, subject to US estate tax if you meet the estate tax threshold, which is around $12.5 million. So the good news is, in this program, the investor, the international investor in this structure, will not be subject to that. So that's very significant. Obviously, with US-based stocks, bonds, ETFs, there's a significant amount of liquidity, and quite frankly, we can trade a client's account with the click of a mouse. There's no, generally speaking, things trade fairly quickly, so there's no holdbacks or secondary markets to deal with, generally speaking. Some of the ancillary benefits that could come from this, and again, we have to be mindful of, some international clients will have issues if they're politically exposed. So some of the things that we're talking about here will not apply to them. But some of the other benefits will be banking services. There are some unique lending opportunities. So say you have an international investor who says, yes, I'd like to invest in the US stock market, but I'd also like to invest in a venture, some other program, or maybe it's a business or a real estate venture. Well, the unique thing about this program is that you can, at rates far more favorable than the average US consumer can access, you can borrow using that portfolio as collateral. That's very interesting. There's opportunities to actually lend your securities back to the custodian and get paid for it. Whoa, really? That's interesting. Another thing that
We've only
One
got
more.
about 3 minutes, and that would
I got
include.
one more. I have one more point. and
Okay,
I'll be
that
done.
would be great. And then we'll have probably time for one question.
One last point, Doug. If you're an international investor with a brokerage account set up here in the US, you will have access, you will have at least access to apply for US based life insurance. And I think I covered everything. And thank you for the opportunity to share.
That's an amazing feature. I know the experts in the room here, including Mike and Gary and others. We have time for one question. And anybody have a question or make?
Mike, Doug, if Wayne, great to meet you. I do a lot of cross border with Canada, and glad to hear that that you've got the brokerage thing changed. I'd like to see if you could educate me on that with an email of what the regulation looks like on that. I'm involved right now with several offerings that are called Reg A Plus, where you list on Toronto Stock Exchange and you do a Reg A in the US. I do Reg S stuff. You know what that is for, a cross-border offering of securities, private raising back and forth. I'm not aware, I don't have a contact in Canada like you that is the RIA equivalent. That's really important. Working with a lot of Canadian inbound companies, the Canada Arizona Business Council. Yes, I'd like to connect and
I'd love to as well, Michael. Great meeting you.
So we'll get you connected. And just to be clear, Wayne has been working with Canada, but now this opportunity really is all of the.
It opens the door to several other countries around the world.
So, Mike, that trade mission that we're working on with Ricardo coming in May, I think that one is a potential opportunity, at least to have in our back pocket relative to an opportunity. So those are
absolutely.
It opens up a lot of really interesting doors. So please do, if you have interest in this opportunity, contact Wayne. And we have one more speaker, and so we're going to continue to go on. I encourage Wayne, you to put your information in the chat area, and all of the speakers and all of the attendees as well. Feel free and share more about what you do. Our last speaker, we've had 4, and they've all been pretty wildly finance, currency, money oriented. And our last one is someone who has a very unique but very special broad expertise and connectivity in technology. I love what Chris Parisi has put together over the years. Any kind of IT support and service that you need, he'll likely have access to it from his home in Colorado, his business home in Colorado, working across the US and globally. Chris, thank you so much for joining us today. Could you share a little bit more about the latest opportunities from your side?
Absolutely. Well, good afternoon, good evening, good morning to everybody. So what we do and who we want to connect with is basically we look at the market of anybody that today is looking to transition to the cloud or is already in the cloud. And within that company, we want to connect with the financial guys and move into the technical guys, so we get a little marriage of both sides of the business so that they can look at it. What we're looking to do is cost optimization and performance optimization in a couple different arenas. So how can we help that prospect? If you've got a prospect that's either in AWS, is a great service, they do a great job, but it's very difficult to manage from a cost optimization standpoint. So we have partners that can go in and evaluate the situation. They can provide savings of up to 30% or more without any risk. So the only risk is they go in and they find that you're doing well, and they don't need to do anything. But most of the time, we are finding optimized costs in AWS, in Microsoft environments, and then in what's called SaaS, which is the service as a solutions, software as a service. And we can look at any one of the the Salesforces, any one of those, and optimize those as well. So we're really taking a look at technology and optimizing that for the customer. So the solutions we have really lie in that data management. We also have the ability to connect digitally anywhere in the world. And this is an interesting company. So this company is in over 800 data centers. They're in over 600 cloud centers. What they can do is if you need to get a 10 to 100 gig circuit connected to anywhere in the world so that your employees have a better experience, so that your customers have a better experience, they can light those up in under 5 minutes. And so you want to expand into another country, boom, you're up and running within 5 minutes. It's a service that only charges $500 a month, and then whatever usage you make on the data is the other part of the service. So it's a real cost optimized service. It's a real performance customized service because everybody's at, you know, this device. And so you want your data there accurately and fast. So as far as how the global tribe can help us is there's financial is a good market. Hospitality is a good market. Healthcare is a good market for us. It just, if you look at the landscape of the technology today, everybody's either trying to move into the cloud or in the cloud and then trying to figure out how they can optimize that cloud. So we're here, you know, we've got specific partners that are experts in these areas, and we can bring to the table a lot of insight. What, from a standpoint of Brook Trout Solutions, what we're trying to do is we're not interested in a sale. We're interested in finding out what the customer's needs are and seeing how long we can service that customer and bring different opportunities to them when they find pain in their technology delivery systems. Anybody have any questions?
I think there's a number of people in the audience, including Phil. I saw you posting about your background and the connectivity that you have in the industry. I think is really interesting, and some of the others. Any questions, please? Phil, do you have a question or a comment?
No, Chris, but real quick, I'm glad you were able to connect with my colleague Fred. I hope you had some synergy on that because I know you two just connected. He just gave me a call on that, but nothing really common. I just wanted to throw out there, just in the whole, since we're talking finance, if anyone wants to my 2 cents on the Visa MasterCard settlement distribution, which is due May 31st, if you have any clients that have accepted MasterCard Visa from 2004 to 2019, please reach out, just because they are owed from that settlement. So that's really it. I didn't want to talk too long.
Is that global, Philip, or is it just in the
yes,
US?
it is global. So if you had an entity, say for instance in Europe, but you've accepted credit cards from US users, you're still entitled to that settlement. So it's just US user cards. So if you have entities in Europe or wherever, you're still entitled to that.
I'll reach out to you offline.
Okay.
Good enough. Well, thanks everybody. Appreciate you listening.
Thank you, Chris. I see Michelle, probably there's several things that came up today that would be potentially aligned with you. I was thinking of you because during the second speaker, I noticed that we had all men speaking today, which I felt really bad about. So sorry about that. We're usually not that focused. We always try to have a balance, but it just kind of, we rolled the dice and we tried, but it didn't quite work out. So, but nonetheless, all 5 were outstanding. Thank you all. We have only about 3 minutes left. Cesar, is there anything either that we forgot or anything else that I saw you posted about the survey? Anything you want to mention relative to a Global Chamber or any of the members?
Thank you, Doug. No, I just wanted to use my time to mention about the survey. I'm going to put the link there in the chat again. This is a survey that takes place twice a year, and it's all about the global business sentiment. It's very simple, 3-minute survey, and the report that comes back is very good. It's done by Factum Global, a member based out of Washington, D.C. So if you haven't, please take a quick moment and complete the survey. We appreciate it. And Doug, always bringing the Olympics to the topic. We have an intern. We have a couple members involved in Paris 2024. So if any of you know someone or is somehow engaged into the Olympics, feel free to reach out, because we're trying to build something around that.
Do we have a
Thanks to
date?
all the speakers today.
there's a daily podcast associated with that, and we have about half the speakers already largely set, and finding a venue and a variety of other things. So please feel free to get involved. Laurent, we should probably somehow get Laurent, given his at least heritage, even though Hong Kong is a long trek. Laurent, are you planning to be at the Olympics, or do you know people going to be at the Olympics?
Sorry, excuse me. I didn't
Will
hear.
you or somebody in your company or others you work with be at the Paris Olympics?
No, not really. No, not
Okay.
really.
When we talk, we'll share more about what we're planning there. I think that brings us to the end of the program. Watch for the LinkedIn post where you'll all be connected. If there are some connections that you weren't able to make here today with people in the room, please let us know. If there are other connections that you're looking for, please let us know. Send us an email. And then the next one of this meeting, the League of Opportunities, is in 15 hours. So here in the Americas, it's overnight, 8 a.m. Pacific time. And in Asia, it's in another 15 hours. It's 5 different speakers, and so feel free to jump into that as well. And then we will all be in the weekend, and as versus Laurent, who's very close to it, on Friday morning there in Hong Kong. Thanks, everybody. Have a great evening. Have a great day and a great weekend. If we don't see you in 15 hours. Take care, everybody.
Yeah.
Bonjour.